Hello and welcome to Daily Encouragements with Naomi. Thanks for joining me. So good to have you here. Today's daily encouragement is going to be based on Isiah 25 verses 1 to 6 around God's faithfulness and worshipping Him. So let's dive into that today. Let's start by reading Isiah 25 verses 1 to 6. Lord, you are my God. I will honour you and praise your name. You have done amazing things. You have faithfully carried out the plans you made long ago. You have turned cities into ruins and destroyed their fortifications. The palaces which our enemies built are gone forever. The people of powerful nations will praise you. You'll be feared in the cities of cruel nations. The poor and the helpless have fled to you. You have been safe in times of trouble. You give them shelter from storms and shade from the burning heat. Cruel enemies attack like a winter storm, like drought in a dry land. But you, Lord, have silenced our enemies. You silence the shouts of cruel people as a cloud cools a hot day. Now, I know that when you've walked through lots and lots of difficult situations and trauma and pain and hurt, it can be hard to come to a loving God and surrender your everything to Him and give your life to Him. Because if you have a view of God that says, well, if He's a loving God, why did this happen? Why did He let this happen? Why did I walk through this? Why did all this pain and hurt happen in my life if God is a loving God? And I understand that perspective and that questioning because I have been there. But that is the wrong question to be asking. The question to be asking when you come to God and give your life up and give it all to Him is, God, where were you? Where were you in that situation? That hurt and that pain, where were you? And as you ask that question, allow Him to speak to you and to tell you where He was, because He will. He was there and He was crying with you. He was heartbroken for you and with you because He is a God of love and He is a faithful God who does not allow those things to happen. Those things happen, A, because of sin in the world, and B, because He's given us free choice. And so we are allowed, in essence, to do what we want to people because we have the free choice. We also have the free choice not to do those things to hurt others. But, that's why hurt and pain and trauma and all that happens, because we have free will. Each and every one of us has been given free will. So it's not God that makes those things happen and lets those things happen. It's our free will. So I understand how it can be hard and difficult to come to God and surrender our lives to God when we've got so much hurt and pain. But that is the very time that we need to surrender our lives and we need to come to God and speak to Him and let Him speak to our hearts and bring reassurance and restoration and healing and wholeness, because He is a faithful God and He will do it. And as we read in Isiah 25, He is faithful. You have faithfully carried out the plans you made long ago. And that is relevant to us individually and to nations of this world and to the world in general, because He planned this world long ago. He planned each and every one of us. He planned every nation, every city, every street, everything. Nothing is a surprise to God. He knew it all. He saw it all, because He is God of heaven and earth, and He is in charge of heaven and earth. So therefore, He planned it all. Even in our hurt and our pain. It is our responsibility to worship God, to be faithful to him as he is faithful to us, to honour him, to love him, and to love others. And it can be incredibly hard to do that if you have been hurt so much by others. But as I've said previously, our heart response in every situation that we walk through is what God is looking for. If we can have a heart response of worship to our King, no matter what happens, we will always be looking into the kingdom of God and be operating at the level of his kingdom and not at an earthly level. When I say worship, I mean more than just singing songs of praise and worship to him. I'm talking about a lifestyle of worship that no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, can be focused on him and on his goodness, his faithfulness, his love, his grace, his mercy, on all those things that he gives us daily that we do not deserve. And just that just amazes me and just makes me so thankful, because he offers those gifts freely every day when I do not deserve them, because I've never done anything to deserve anything that he has to offer. But I look back over my life, as I've said before, and just see the faithfulness and the fingerprints of God all over it. And that is simply because before the creation of this world, God predestined me and you, and he chose us. You know, he didn't need humans on this earth. He's God, and he didn't need us, but yet he wants us, and we are made to worship him and to tell others about him so that then they can worship him. And that's my encouragement to you today, is just look back over your life and see where God has been faithful. As you look over your life and see his faithfulness, worship him with everything that you have, not only in song, but in your words, in your thoughts, in all that you do and all that you are. Worship your King and remember his faithfulness, because when times are tough and you're walking through a trial, we often forget how faithful God is and how good he is and how loving and kind and generous he is. Because as humans, we tend to have very short memories when it comes to remembering what God has done in the past. Because when we're walking through a hard time, we often get quite consumed by that and forget his goodness and his faithfulness. And if you can't find anything to thank him for, or in any area that he's been faithful, I would be very surprised if you couldn't. But if you can't, thank him for the mere fact that he's never left you or forsaken you, because that's what it says in his word, that he never ever will. And so therefore, that's what makes him so faithful, is that he's constantly there. He's always there. He's never anywhere else. He's right there with you. And if it feels like he's not, potentially it's you that's moved, not him, because he hasn't left you. He's right there with you. Yes, he may be silent in the trial, but he is there with you. If it's a trial where someone is hurting you or abusing you or anything like that, know that his heart breaks, and it is breaking for you, and he is there with you, and he is crying with you if you are. I know that it's hard to worship him a lot of times in the trials and in the pain, but there is such beauty in that, because that is real, authentic worship when it comes out of a place of hurt and pain and going, God, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get through this. I don't know how to fix this or how to deal with this, but you do. So I give it to you, and I ask that you help me. And as I wait on you, I'll worship you. There's a song that I have on one of my playlists. I cannot remember what it's called, but there's a line in it and it talks about worshipping in the hallway. Now, worshipping in the waiting. Before God opens the door, before he gives you the next step to take, worshipping in the waiting. Thanking him for the season, thanking him for what he's done in your life up until then. Worship in the waiting, in the hallway, in the corridor, whatever you call it, but worshipping him in that place before that next door opens, or before he says, walk this way. In the waiting, worship him. And as you worship him, he will speak to your heart. He will help you. He will just get you through what you need to get through, because he's such a good God, such a good and faithful God who is right there with you, everything you walk through. Also, my encouragement to you, if you're watching this and you don't know who this God is, you don't know the joy and the honor and the privilege of being his child, of being his son and daughter, and you don't know the joy of worshipping him in the highs and the lows, I encourage you to cry out to him, because he is real. He absolutely is 100% real. There is no doubt in how real he is. As I've shared before, and I've said a few moments ago, the fingerprints of God are all over my life. And that is proof that he is real, because I do not know where my life would have ended up, or where I'd be, or even if I would be alive right now if it wasn't for the fingerprints of God. And I know that sounds very dramatic, but I'm 1,000% serious on this. If God was not in my life, I don't think I'd be here, because he is my hope, and he is my only way through the trauma and the hurt and the pain that I've walked through. There's no one else that can heal me and fix me and restore me apart from him. He's the only one. And for the years and years that I was unable to deal with stuff and unable to acknowledge and even talk about it, he absolutely carried me and kept me safe and protected me so that I would still be here to then process stuff and deal with stuff and work through stuff with him and with his help. I can't do it on my own. I can't. There is no way I can ever do it on my own. I need him every second, every minute, every hour of every day of my life. I can't do it on my own. And I am just so thankful that he doesn't leave me to do it on my own, and he doesn't expect me to do it on my own. He is absolutely more than willing to help, because he is faithful and loving and kind and generous and full of grace and mercy. And I'm just so thankful that I was introduced to him as a young child, and get the privilege and honor of being his daughter and of walking with him daily. So be encouraged. Worship in the waiting. God's got you. He sees you and he knows you. And he has amazing plans and purposes for your life that will just amaze you and astound you and cause you to go, wow, such a fun adventure being a child of God. Be encouraged. Doing great. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Love you all. Bye.